not. So we're just warming up the audience right now. I have no idea where we're at on the clock. Okay, 1 more minute till showtime. Make sure you have paper to write with, okay? This is Frank Kern right here. If you want to take advantage of the offer that we're going to do today, in addition to what's available in that offer, CardoneKern.com/yes. It's what? How much is it? $1,000? $997? It's a $3,000 program. You get it for $997. And I'm going to include a private group coaching session with Frank and our team, okay? CardoneKern.com/yes. That'll answer any of your leftover remaining questions that you might have. That's worth, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 bucks.
$5 grand at least for an hour.
Okay, so we'll do that for anybody that hooks up. How many?
$775.
Okay, for anybody who hooks up in the first 10 minutes, 10s for the 10X. We'll throw in that thing. For those of you out there that like, man, I just want to buy your offer today. I know you're going to offer something, so I just want to put that out there for anybody who wants to take advantage of that.
Do you have this?
I do not have it. Do I need it?
Yeah.
Why do I need
maybe,
it?
because all the questions.
You're just going to ask me some questions, right?
Yeah.
Are the answers there?
Yeah, they are.
What I'm supposed to say is
you're
there?
supposed to say, yes, Frank, you are a genius.
Okay.
Like question number 1, how would you rank Frank's skills? And then you're like, unbelievable, single smartest person I've ever met in my life. Things like that, really simple. You know?
Yeah.
You know, I like to be prepared, man. Which is, guys, by the way, preparing for stuff like this with G-Money is it's like God laughs at your plans. It's like, hey, let's do this. And you're like, okay, sure. And then completely.
Then I go insane.
Completely insane, which makes it 20 times funner.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Right? We got enough people on to go? Okay. Hey, welcome. My name's Grant Cardone. This is Frank Kern. Frank is a legendary media and advertising guy. And this whole thing that we're doing today, you know that thing where Kanye and Jay-Z, Kanye makes Jay-Z. What song is that, Jared? He makes Jay-Z do this piece on.
It's a damn easy, you did it again.
He says, man, F you, Kanye, for making me do this. So that's kind of like Last Call. It's the Last Call album. So F you, Frank Kern, for making me do this. But
I don't think there's any making you do anything.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that we're doing this because, like, this thing that we're going to share with you today is been one of the, if my success was a stool and there was 3 legs to that stool, this is one of those stools that had I not, one of the legs of the stool, had I not done this, you wouldn't know me right now. You would not be following this right now. You and I wouldn't be doing this right now. Frank Kern wouldn't know me. I wouldn't know Frank Kern. I wouldn't have half my office wouldn't be here with me.
Dude, I didn't want to know you.
Yeah.
So the way that I even got to know you was I was in Mexico in like 2015 or something.
Wow.
And these dudes that I was in Mexico with, like, hey man, you know Grant Cardone, and I'd heard of
These
you
are all
from,
marketing guys?
Yeah. And this is like, I'd heard of you from back in the day when I sold cars. Like, yeah, isn't he like a car guy? Like, no, man, he ain't that. You got to follow this dude on social media. I wasn't even a social media person. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll check him out, because you had a plane. So the logic was, you should follow this guy because he's got a plane, so he must know what he's talking about. They say, yeah, he's entertaining and everything. Only reason we're even having this conversation is because I actually started watching on social. Then
So for those of you who cannot buy a plane in order to get known, that's what today's about.
Yeah, that's what it's
because
about.
if you need a garage full of Lamborghinis like my friend Ty Lopez, okay?
Beautiful cars, by the way.
Oh yeah, totally. Or you need a fighting career like Mike Tyson. Like look at the people that are, or you're not willing to do what Kim Kardashian and her sisters have done for the last 15 years. You know, if you're not willing to do those things and you can't go spend, you know, 50 million bucks on a plane to get known, today is about that. How do you do it with no money? How do you get yourself, social media is the reason I have a plane today. Okay, like how do you get known? How do you monetize? That's what we want to talk about today. First half, you want to set it up.
Yeah, so here's our mission. All right, so Grant's been doing this since 2007. By the way,
didn't even know that.
I know, I did a lot of research on
What was happening in 2007?
I don't even recall.
I'll tell you what was happening.
Yeah. I was
so
partying
this is
too hard.
interesting, okay? Because I haven't actually looked at his questions.
Yeah, I mean, I did all this work like nothing. So
let me just tell you, since we're into it now, okay? Or you want to tell them what you were doing, and then we'll start it back in 2007. Go ahead and tell them the mission.
But yeah, so here's our mission. I'm going to extract all of the like unconscious competence from him, like all the stuff like that he's doing that nobody ever asks him, hey, what was it like? How did you do this? How did you get started? What was your first day like when you had your first couple of viewers? What did you do? How did you stay in the game when people weren't watching you? Then he's going to answer those questions, and then I'm going to share with you all of my findings on how to systemize what this dude has actually been doing since 2007 into a workable model of, hey, here's what to do every single day. Like for you, here's what to do. Here's what to talk about, here's what not to do, and here's how to sell at the same time. So we kind of have like two halves today. Half number one is I'm extracting information from you to the best of my ability. We'll see how that goes. And the second half is, okay, here is like the step-by-step, cut and dry, manual. Step one, do this today, do this tomorrow, do this the next day.
Yeah.
So let's crack into it. 2007.
2007, this is what's happening, okay? The economy's coming, like, it's derailing. My wife behind me, come up here, Elena, if you're over there, just show your face. See, my wife's with me everywhere I go. Like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but, you know, look, here she is, okay? It was
Everybody's
2007, okay, get out of the shot. 2007, check it out, it's 2007. We're in Los Angeles, California. This is pre-Facebook, pre-Instagram. There is no Instagram, actually. There's no Snapchat yet. There was Meerkat. There was no Periscope. Twitter was probably king of the universe. And 2007 hits. I had 3 little businesses. The biggest of the 3 might have done $3 million a year. These 3 businesses, there's no plane, by the way. Nobody knows me anywhere in the world, okay? The economy gets cut in half. My number one source of money, which was out of the auto industry, consulting car dealers, very, very difficult people to talk to and get money from.
But we love them.
Was done door to door. Like I put 3 million miles. This is the story people don't know about me, right? 3 million miles on my body, traveling from one car dealer, San Antonio, El Paso, Albuquerque, like Kenzangara,
Macon, Georgia.
In his Dodge store, trying to get 2 or 3 salesmen to come to my gig. I'm just hustling, trying to make a living, right? Well, the economy collapses. The business that did 3 million gets cut in half. The other businesses were just kind of on, they were fragile anyway. They get cut in half. My real estate gets frozen up. And I tell my wife, she's like, what's going to happen? I said, oh, this is going to be terrible. Okay, it's going to be awful. And she's like, you got to figure this out. And so what happened was, I went in my office and said, what have I done wrong here? Because I had worked for, at that time I was 20 years I'd been in business, working my ass off. And I realized on that Thursday afternoon, what had happened for me was not enough people knew me, and I was too dependent upon one little group. Now again, I didn't have a YouTube channel, I didn't have Twitter.
No public Facebook page.
I had no public Facebook page. I knew nothing about any of this stuff. That was just what, 11 years ago?
Yeah, it was 12. It was 2007. Yeah.
12 years ago. So if you go back to my YouTube channel, just to substantiate all this, the first thing that I created was a YouTube channel.
I've got that, actually.
And it was 2012. How many videos have we put on YouTube now, guys?
We got over 5,000.
Over 5,000 videos on YouTube in 12 years.
Yep.
400 a year.
Here's the first question about that. So in preparation for today's class, I'm like, hey, man, I want to go all the way and see. Because, you know, I'm with you guys, right? When I first started watching Grant, I'm like, this dude is everywhere. And he's really, really, really good at social media. And the first thing I thought was, I can't do that. Like, I don't have that same personality. I'm not like, I don't have a plane and all of this. I don't have any kind of following. So
the plane's not in many videos.
Yeah, it's barely
just a big
noticeable.
plane.
Yeah, barely noticeable asset, you know. So I'm like, how does someone that doesn't have all of that stuff do it? And I think it's a logical assumption to make, and I think a lot of us make it. So I started going back, and the very first YouTube video I found for you was published in 2007. It looks like it's VHS footage, like literally. Can you bring up the screenshot? Yeah, so here's a screenshot. It should be on your screen.
Oh my God, look at this video.
So
that's
it's like
crazy,
someone
dude.
filmed you with a camcorder or something.
No, that's not a camcorder. What that is that is a Betamax VHS from a video program. Okay, this is so good you did this, Frank. And Frank, I'm not unconscious, okay? I'm actually conscious. I'm just, like he said, unconscious competence. I try so many things because I am so committed to taking care of my family and thinking good things of myself. And for me, if I'm not making money, I'm like, well, dude, you're not taking care of your family. I need money to take care of my family. So that was a video program. It was
$10,000.
a video program that we were selling to companies.
In 2007.
Now, I'm going to tell you how I created that video program. Okay, y'all see Grant today. He talks about the plane, but you know, Grant was flying coach back then. If I got an upgrade to first class, I didn't even upgrade my miles. I just crossed my fingers and said, "Hey, can you guys upgrade me? I'm a nice guy."
You'd still do that because you are tight now.
Huh?
You're tight. You
No,
would
I'm
still
smart.
drive that
I'm
hard of
smart.
a bargain.
No, I'm smart.
He drives a hard
I'm
bargain.
smart.
I've never seen anything like it.
I'm smart. Okay, I'm smart with money because I value money, right? So I know what I can do with money, and so that video program was a program we already had. It was content that I had been selling, and then I basically repurposed that program. Okay, I think that was 22 different videos. They were about 20 to 30 minutes in length, and I started robbing little pieces of them. That was not even a lie. Like, that wasn't new content. That was what do you call it? Repurpose?
Yeah. Repackaged and repurposed.
So that was my
repurposing the
first.
asset.
You can repurpose to get known.
So what did you think? You'd never been on YouTube before. Is this new thing? Like, were you an internet
Well,
guy?
there was one person doing this. So I'm like, open a YouTube account. Okay, how do I open a YouTube account? Right now I'm in an office. The desk is brown. It's maybe 80 square feet office. Out of my home, and y'all know what I say about working from home today. Like, don't do that. And that's what I was doing. And the walls are green. Okay, there's no TV on the wall because I can't afford the TV. I had a brown leather sofa, and I'm like, I need people to know me. How can I do that? Somebody said, dude, YouTube. I said, what do you mean YouTube? Guy's in my office. He's with a buddy named Gavin. His name's Trevor. He's like, YouTube, get a YouTube channel. I said, how do I do that? He told me how to do it. Created a new account for YouTube, built it, dropped the video in. Like, I know how to do that. Like, I work with Johnny the cameraman all the time. I said, Johnny, show me how to do that.
In that point, you're like, what, about 50 years old, 49, 50
I guess I'm, what is that, 12/7, 2012? Yeah, I'm 54 years old, man.
Yeah, so a huge thing that I hear from people a lot is, oh, this is only just for kids. You know, I got to get the kid down the street to figure this stuff out for me. And here you are.
I knew what I
50s.
wanted. I knew what I wanted on the platform, right? And I don't know how many views did I get on that video.
Well, since it's 12 years ago, it's got 24,000, but it didn't have it
So
at the time.
divide that by 12 years. That's 2,000 views a year. Divide by 12 months. That's 180 views a month. Divide that by 30 days. That's 6 views a day.
So what were you
So everybody's
thinking?
like, oh my God, man, you already got a big following. Dude, I get 6 followings on that dumb ass video. Now,
Put
here's
the
the
video
other
on the
thing.
screen again. It's so good.
Here's the other thing. Like, I don't know if you can play that video.
Yeah,
See, most of you would take that video down now. My wife would take that video down because to her, it makes her look bad. To me, I would rather look bad than not be looked at. Because I know that if I can get enough attention over long periods of time, quantities of attention, quantity, you have to get quantity. Quantity, you and I have had this argument in this conversation many times, as well as other media people. Quantity will beat quality.
No, we don't have an argument at
We
all in
used to-
terms
we
of
used-
content.
Yeah, but when you know,
I talk more about target marketing of what customer you want.
I wasn't
versus
target
just
marketing here, guys. I was literally like, you got to remember, I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana. He's from Macon, Georgia. So he should know what it's like to walk out on your porch and just like, boom, boom, boom.
You can actually do that.
You know.
you can actually do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I can do that here in Miami, too.
It's frowned upon here, I think, in Miami, but not where we grew up.
Yeah,
You remember
yeah,
being a
yeah,
kid
yeah,
and like actually walking around with guns
Dude,
as a child?
Dude, of course.
I cannot believe, like literally like shotguns at like age 8.
And
Just-
the new guns are YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Remember, that was one channel back then, YouTube. It was typically longer duration. I'm moving off the guns. It was longer duration video.
Yeah.
It could be 1 minute. It could be 3 or 4 minutes. Back then, they were like, don't do long video. What's one of our longer videos?
We got an 8-hour video.
Got an 8-hour video on YouTube. How many views on that video? Can somebody pull that up? How many? Over a million views on an 8-hour video.
So, dude, going back to that one, all right, your business is in trouble. This is in 2007,
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Business is a little sketchy. Shit had hit the fan in terms of the economy and all this kind of stuff. 6 views.
6 views.
What kept you going?
Well, I didn't understand I didn't understand YouTube or social media. I don't even think the term social media was around at that time. But what I did understand is one of anything is nothing. Like it doesn't. You have to create quantity. And you know, I started looking at, because you couldn't follow influencers. There was no influencers.
Yep.
Okay. There was no gurus to watch or follow.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah. It was just a bunch of people my age at that time, 50 years old, saying, I don't have time for Facebook and YouTube. Who's there anyway? Like none of this was real yet. But I knew this was a way for me I was financially strapped, didn't have an ad budget. I was terrified, but it was a way for me to push something out. And it was smarter than me getting on a plane and flying to Albuquerque to go call on people that weren't going to hire me at the time anyway, because they were as scared at that time as I was. So this was a way for me to start populating this thing called the internet and get known. Like, dude, when I saw 6 people watch my video, I was actually elated. I went running to Elena. There's 6 people watching my video today.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to pay anything for those 6 people. Like, to me, that was a huge score that I was able to take something I had, post it on a video, and 6 people that I didn't know watched it. Okay, I think we had 1 or 2 comments.
And now they know you. And so that's a huge thing, right? Because you think dramatically different than anyone that I've ever known. So the average person would be like, oh, I only got 6 people, it doesn't work, to hell with it. And you were like, holy crap, I got 6 people.
Dude, that was my first 6.
Yeah, and there's 3 things that I've noticed about you that are directly related to social media and really the way you conduct business. Number 1 is, you don't see it as just 6. You're like, awesome, it's 6, let's build it. Where the average person, including me, I'd be like, oh man, damn, it doesn't work, I only got 6.
Yeah.
Number 2 is you do not give a single damn about what anybody else thinks. You'll leave that damn thing up even though, it's a VHS recording and stuff, because you're like, I don't give a damn if people don't like it. I've got this important message. And I think it's really critical, because another one of the things that'll stop people from taking advantage of this opportunity is they're like, well, what if people hate on me? Or what if they don't like me? Or what if I don't look perfect? Or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm still on question number 1.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, the opportunity. Look, I've never been like that. The last time I was liked, I was 14 years old in high school. It was the last time anybody really liked me. Like, I was popular for 3 months. Jared likes me.
I like you most of the time.
Okay. Yeah. So I've always had a big mouth. I've always had a little different idea. And I think I was at LaGrange High School in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And I wasn't on the football team. I wasn't in the cool school. I wasn't the cool kid. And I had a big mouth. So, I'm like, okay, even when I was the likable kid for 3 months, it didn't change my life. And I don't know any of those people anymore. So I'm like, I haven't been trying to get people to like me. I've been trying to get people to know me.
Yeah.
And back in 2007, I was just trying to take care of my wife. We had a baby coming. Okay, so all you guys see where I'm at today, but you don't understand, dude. I had my first kid. I have been terrified about money. I had a house payment to make. And no matter how it looked to you, what did it feel like to me inside? And to me, these 6 people were like, there's 6 people that I don't know. There was no analytics then. There was nothing to measure. There was no ROI. There was no studies. And so I was not unconsciously incompetent. I was clearly incompetent. Very incompetent. Everybody was at that time about YouTube. And everything that would come, we were all incompetent. We're probably a bit incompetent still. I knew I was incompetent. I just knew for sure, consciously knew, I needed a new audience.
Yeah. Another thing,
and that's what kept me going, was I got to have an audience.
It was just the drive that, it was survival.
Yeah, it was totally survival.
Yeah. All right.
And it was smarter just from a financial, because I'm frugal, it was smarter than me getting on a plane and flying across country, spending, hotels, cars. These vehicles were free. The other thing that I loved about it, when I first saw it, I was like, dude, I can say, I put a video up. When's the next video that I put up? Can anybody tell? And then I put another video up, and then I put a third video up, and I'm like, shit, how many can I put up? And then I was like, fuck, there ain't nobody watching this shit. Nobody's watching YouTube to see how many videos I put up. And then up comes another.
And you mean not watching, like not supervising?
I mean, nobody's supervising
blocking
YouTube to stop me from posting. And I'm like, wait a minute, how many can I put up? I called that guy Trevor. I said, Trev, how many videos can I put up on YouTube? He's like, bro, don't worry about it.
You ain't gonna break it.
Ain't nobody watching your channel. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, you mean I can put up as many as I want? Doesn't cost me anything. I'm not regulated. Like, there's nobody that says I can do. I mean, short of today, that's starting to regulate today because you can't say hateful things. But at that time, I could say I was the best, and nobody's going to confront me. It wouldn't be for another 3 or 4 years before the social media people started picking me up, saying, "This is not the guy you want to be like."
That's another thing I've noticed about you is you have zero concept of limitation. So you're, instead of like, oh, no one's watching or whatever, you're like, no one is going to put any limits on how much of this stuff I can do. And like when we made the decision to make this webinar, we were talking about doing this one, and you were talking about doing a real estate one all at the same time. You're like, dude, let's do all of it. And I remember texting you that day. I was like, man, I just want to acknowledge that. You have absolutely no concept of limitation on anything. You're like, no, this whole limit thing is BS, and you can and should max out on everything. Which I think is really, really important, because when people try to use social now, what will happen is they'll be like, well, I don't want to oversaturate the market or overdo it. And you're completely the opposite of that. Well, it's just like onward.
You know, we have a saying around here. It's like, just, you know, three rules we have: promote, promote, promote.
Yep.
And then underneath each of the 3 rules is nobody saw it. Promote.
Yep.
So I just assumed nobody saw, like you, some of you are watching this right now, you didn't hear the thing that I did in the first 10 minutes. Okay, if you go to cardonekern.com/yes, cardonekern.com/yes, and buy the offer that we're going to make to you later, and you do it right now, we're going to give you a coaching session, private, that's included with the package and the bonuses and everything, but I'm going to do that in the first 10 or 15 minutes of this, okay? You don't even know what you're getting. I just want to reward people that don't even know anything, like me, right? Because I think people need to be rewarded for not knowing anything and moving forward anyway. And so back then it was just like everybody that's telling you can, you can't, this is the way to do it, that's the way to do it, they hadn't done it either.
Yep.
Like, remember, the first video had 6 views. Okay, was there 1 million people on YouTube now? 6 million people on Facebook. 1.7 million people on Instagram. Yesterday we did an Instagram video, one take. It had 350,000 views in an hour. A YouTube video had how many? 70,000 in one day. They don't all go like that, okay? But the point is, I mean, I got hit by more rappers and ball players yesterday and coaches and artists than I've ever been hit in one day. Yesterday, more than my entire career combined. Because I just been banging on these things, and just, I use this rule: nobody saw it. Nobody knows you. Nobody's seen you. If they saw it, they didn't see it anyway. Many of you have already missed some of the things. You've already gotten your $47 worth, if you're taking notes. And so I just assume that people don't actually hear or see what you show them.
It's
and what
important.
you say.
That's critical, because the average person, because I personally work with a lot of people, you know, and the average person that messes with this stuff is like, I already said that once. I got to come up with brand new
Something
stuff.
that,
I want to fast forward.
The biggest mistake that we make here is
assuming.
We assume people saw it. Look, I know people that comment that didn't see it. You know, I know Jeff Foxworthy. I was in Los Angeles, California. I was driving my car. I was in this little gold BMW. I'm driving down the road to go get a cup of coffee or something, and I hear this interview by Jeff Foxworthy, and he says, nobody knew me until I had done 700 annual interviews. He was doing 2 interviews a day, every day, for 2 years. He said, nobody knew me. I'd done 2 years of interviews on radio every day, 2 a day, times 365. That's 700 interviews a year. And when I heard Jeff Foxworthy say that, that's the redneck guy, right?
Yeah.
When I said that, I went back to the office and I started dumping video.
It's time to hit it.
Started creating content.
Speaking of creating content, all right, fast forward it all the way to like 2 weeks or something. And it's right around your, let's see, 14th video. that you ever posted on YouTube? Since you've probably only been on there for about a week
Still
or
no
so.
Facebook or Twitter yet, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you're promoting a book, and the book is called The Secret to Success.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
that video in total ever over the past 12 years had 1,400 views, by the way.
First book I ever wrote.
Yeah.
Actually was turning 50 right here, so just get the date right on this.
50-year-old guy.
50 years old.
Promoting a book that nobody likes to learn about selling.
I had a party to launch this book. And I don't know what I spent on that party, probably 50 or 60,000 of money I didn't have. Like I had to, like it was scary. And I brought 800 people to my house. I had this big house in LA that could handle 800 people, crazy as it might seem, but 800 people showed up at the house. I threw this big freaking party. Joe Pesci showed up. Elena had a friend that was dating Pesci, sleeping with him. And so.
Was he cool?
Yeah, he was cool. I mean, I had this
cool.
unbelievable house there. I was fortunate enough to have this great house, but I was worried about losing this house. Again, I got in LA in 2004. The economy hit me in 2007. I'd bought this house, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in trouble, dude. I'm in trouble. Baby on the way, and I'm like, okay, I gotta write a book. That was one of my solutions. I'm gonna write a book and get people to know me. And then when I wrote the book, nobody bought the book.
That was a question. So I counted 5 videos that you made that promoted the book, and that was my question. Did it work?
The book was so bad, I had to change the title of the book. Okay?
So
book went nowhere. It was self-published. Couldn't get it picked up. So many of you out there wasting time with books right now. You shouldn't be doing it. Like you're wasting money and time building a book. Books cost people more. You should be using that money to get known on social media.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So why'd you keep going? Because, like, you know, again, I work with people all the time. They're like, oh, dude, I tried it. I ran an ad. I made a whatever. It didn't sell. Next.
Because, look, I was fired from 6 jobs between the ages of 16 and 23. So, you know, when you finally, when you're like, okay, look, I got to figure this out. Like, this is the only way I could take care of my family. I'm not a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Will you show the screenshot of that the book video? I want to point out exactly what you said.
See, there's the green walls of that office I told you about.
And so I have, like, in my notes is to showcase the homemade nature
71 likes on that video since 2008.
Yeah, it's been viewed around 1,400 times over 12. Like, nobody saw it.
No, 11,000 views in 12 years. Nobody saw that video.
Yeah.
So I was in a tie, I was in a suit. There's no lighting in the office, okay? Congratulations, by the way, for grabbing it. There's no lighting in the office. I'm doing it off of a phone, I think. I don't know if I was doing it off an old iPhone 4 or something.
Show the third one. Speaking of that, so I'm looking again in 2007. So you're on YouTube. All right, now check this out.
Let me see this. Hey, I just want to congratulate you guys because this is who Grant was then. Rob Thompson, Julia Shaw, Andrea Sino, Karen Vance, Lee Juckwag, Todd Dudley, Joe Stafford, Bo Shadrick, Brian, Daniel Lang, Kyle Miller. These guys all bought the CardoneKern.com/yes. You're going to get a private coaching session with Frank Kern because you don't even know what's in the program. So I just want to, it's a $3,000 program for under $1,000, and Frank's going to work with you to make sure that you become a celebrity online.
Yeah, and more importantly, sell stuff while you're doing it. Because I'd rather you be rich than famous. All right, so let's see that screenshot again, Johnny. This is a good one. All right, this is 2007 still. You're in your house. You're making videos talking about sales. All right. Fast forward 2 years later, it's 2009. You're still in the house talking about sales.
Yeah,
Actually, that's not the one. That was the other one, but it doesn't matter. You're still in the same room. Yeah, that's what. You're still in the same room.
I can't sell the house, dude, because the economy's crashed. But look at the products behind me now.
But so now this is 2009.
And look at the products. So yeah, this is a year and a half later. Look at the amount of product I am creating now. I'm starting to put together plastic products. This is before digital. So you're seeing the closers program back there. You're seeing a second book, the black book. You're seeing the full video program, the Rules of Success I went and shot. I'm either shooting new content now or I'm repurposing. So I'm about to go on a content binge.
So this is when you were like, okay, it's
well,
on.
no, I had 6 views.
Yeah. Well, now this is 2009, so like even
No,
in
no, but I had
2009.
6 views, dude. All I needed was the first 6 views. You guys get 6 views, and you're like, oh, only 6 people there. I never use the word only in front of people or money. Only 6 people. Dude, look, you want to reach 7 billion people? That's when I started thinking about how many people can I reach? I reached 6 that I didn't know. And it cost me nothing.
Yep.
It just cost me some willpower, some determination, some guts, and like, okay, I'm going to share some content. You can't even want, like, I'm not thinking about what they're saying about my content. Like, I'm not waiting for feedback. Okay, Elena, and if Elena was here, she'd defend herself and she'd agree with me. She's an actress. She's waiting for the applause of the audience.
You could give a shit.
I'm not looking for an applause. I'm looking for people. Because people, if you want to make money, you got to get people to know you. You brought up the celebrity thing about being famous. Celebrity is not just about famous, okay? It can be about famous people, but it can also be about a very important person. Do you want to be an influencer or a very important person or a personality, a big name, a household name? Okay, it's not just about the star, a giant. Would you like to be a master? Okay, because that is also the definition of a celebrity. Or the state of being well known. Okay, so you don't have to be Kardashian or Kanye.
You got to have paparazzi
or OJ.
Yeah.
No, but look, it's not important. I remember my dad used to tell me, look, it's who you know. My dad was about 40% right on that. It's not who you know. Okay, it's who knows you. And so every time I did a video, I'm like, if I can get one more person to know me, like me or not like me, just know me. And then I kept thinking about that Jeff Foxworthy thing. I just got to keep dropping content. And then about that time, I don't know when the launch of Facebook was, but boom, a Facebook page pops up. Oh, what's the Facebook thing?
So you start. I'm going to get to Facebook in a minute, but there's something I want to show you. Bring up that video where Grant's in front of the green screen.
Because I just want to tell everybody, look, I still don't know what I'm doing, by the way, when all this is going on. I'm just looking for opportunities to drop content on these platforms that are popping up.
And the opportunity was so rare. It's nothing like today, right? So, you'll be drinking after me if you drink that. Grab that little, because I had a cold earlier. I don't want you to get no fun. All right, so what like today, so Grant's checked his phone like 700 times since we've been on this webinar, and like everybody does that. Everybody's got their phone with them constantly, and most of the stuff they're looking at is social media. Back then it wasn't the case. So this screenshot.
This was not happening on mobile back then. None of this activity was happening on mobile.
So you had this mindset of like seize the opportunity to the degree that bring the screenshot up again, because this is a hell of a story. This is the one that I was talking to you about yesterday, and we watched it. So.
And when you started describing this video to me, I knew exactly what you were talking about when you're like, hey, you're in this hallway and you're shooting this thing, and what was happening was I was at a conference. This goes back to multi-purposing, okay? We had a rule back then in my office, never ever go any place. Everything was physical visits in. Everything was a physical visit. And the thing was, you got to remember how I made my living. I made my living cold calling on customers. So I never left my house and went someplace and called on one person. Because I used to do that as a younger man. I would go someplace, call on one guy. If it didn't work out well, I went back to my hotel room and sucked my thumb for the rest of the day. And I made a rule one day, never go someplace, call on one person, and drive home without seeing at least second or third person. That ended up becoming a habit of me leaving the hotel at 6:30 in the morning. I wouldn't get home till 10 o'clock at night. Like one appointment, and I would end up seeing 19 people. So I was at a conference, and I flew to the conference. I knew there was going to be a lot of opportunities there to see people, and I'm walking through this conference looking for people, man. I'm looking for how am I going to pay my bills this month. Every person was to be monetized. Every person was an opportunity either to monetize today or in the future to put in my pipeline. And
that's where you get that quantity thing from.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're like quantity.
I need
And
quantity.
I'm like, no, let's just get the right people. You're like, no, dude, I want everybody, and that's where it comes from. Every person is going to be in the pipeline in some.
And I'm scared, dude. I'm scared. And maybe I don't know what I'm doing. And there is no. I don't know you yet. There's no like. I mean, there's nobody.
There's no book on it.
There's no book on this.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get known, right? I'm not a rapper. I'm not a ball player. I can't sing. I'm not willing to get, take my clothes off. So, and I'm looking at all the possibilities. I'm like, can I sing? Can I dance? Can I strip? And I'm like, okay, I can't do those things. So what can I do, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can go see people. But nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
This is where you and I talk about that cold call. Nobody wants to do that.
So horrible, man.
So, dude, to me, doing a video on YouTube, this is so much easier than a cold call.
And that story particularly, so you're at this conference
And
you walk
there was
by
a
the
green
booth.
screen. There was a green screen. Imagine there's a green screen right behind us, and there's a camera in the green screen, and they're waiting to shoot something. It's like an empty studio. And I walked up and I said, "Hey guys, can you run that camera? I want to do something right now."
Did they even know you?
Yeah, I don't know if they knew me. I just walked in really noisy and said, turn that camera on. I got something for you. And that's where I shot that video. Said it was a video to salespeople about how weak they were.
Yeah.
You're the weakest sales. I got a cold. I had a cold at the time, and I said, my cold's stronger than your closest. Now the reason I did that is because. And this is a type of marketing that I am very comfortable with, that most people aren't. It's very aggressive, edgy, in your face. It's meant to be abrasive, and it's meant to offend.
Yeah.
That T-shirt that I have, it says, you have that T-shirt? Maybe we'll give a bunch of those away for people who hook up today. Yeah, you got the T-shirt I'm talking about. So I apologize in advance. It's like I need that T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
And so. It's a form of advertising. You can play this thing out, by the way. Like, you don't have to just make friends with people. Some people, to get their attention, you actually have to
Get in their face a little bit.
So I told these guys, I said, dude, I'm gonna shoot this video. It's gonna go viral. I'll give you the content. And that's how I got them to shoot the thing. I just walked in their studio, lights were on, and banged it out.
So if you guys go to YouTube and you can just see it in your whenever you're ready. But here's what's amazing about that.
How many views on that video? Yeah, now 10,000 views on that one video, but dude, that was like, you got to remember, if I got 80 views on a video,
You're losing it. Oh my
I
God,
was
80
like,
people.
Aaliyah,
Yeah.
I hit the Holy Grail. Okay,
What was cool-
because you got to respect those numbers. It's 80 people. It
Yeah, they're
costs me
people.
nothing. They're people, man.
Yeah, they're people.
Okay, and now those people know me.
What was cool about that thing is, and when you see the video, like you're like just laying into the camera.
Yeah.
And there's nobody's paying attention.
There's nobody there.
They're just, you hear people milling about in the background, and you can see people like kind of on the side because, you know, the video is, it's a video of him being videoed. So what you're seeing is like the behind the scenes type of thing. And there was absolutely no...
Nobody there.
There was no diminishment of intensity or commitment.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because what happens with the people that I'll see is they'll be like, well, no one's paying attention, so I'm just going to dial it down. And you're the complete opposite. You don't give a damn. You're just like all the time.
Yeah.
Level 50.
Well,
1000x.
You think that. You think that that's where I am, but you don't know what's going on inside of me, all right? This is the... I apologize in advance. Maybe with those 12 people, if we got 12 of these, I'll give them away, all right?
I usually say that before a party.
To Ruland, to Greg, Mike, Donna, Jonathan Frost. Jonathan Frost, he's a CPA. Great job he does. So you guys, I'm going to see. If I got 12 of these, I'll give them away, all right?
The apology.
So, now,
shirt.
The reason I was looking at my phone, not to be disrespectful to you, but I was
do
looking
you know who
for...
I think I am?
Yeah. How many times that video has been redone now? Okay, just
repurposed from...
But other people are now sharing it.
Yep.
Okay. Now this is a much better quality. It was 2 minutes and 29 seconds. No. You want to know what your problem is? Look, your business sucks, and it has nothing to do with the economy. Huh? Your business sucks because you're using the same energy, the same techniques, the same thing. Now, I was just trying to get attention. Everybody's going to figure out. Jeff Foxworthy figured out he was the redneck. He was the redneck guy, right?
Yeah, you might be a redneck if.
This might not be your energy. It's not going to be most people's energy. It's not yours. Frank's got a completely different, super cool delivery that I don't have. He's always smiling, very laid back, very diminishing of himself. What's that called?
Self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating, And I look.
You're the opposite.
Well, I don't know if I'm the opposite. I'm just different, right?
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk's got a completely different kind of vibe going on.
Yeah.
Tony's got a different vibe going on. But Tony doesn't use social much, right? Would that be fair?
Dude, you know, I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't follow him. I love the dude, but I follow 47 people. All right, here's the deal. Okay. So
You
here's
see
the
some
next
of these
one.
other people sharing it now. Here's a guy that wrote an article about it. This is what you don't want to be on social media. I got my start in the dealer business when I was 18. I absolutely love this business, but this is not the way you should behave
And this
when you create social media.
And so this is 2010.
This is 2000 and February 22nd, 2010.
Yeah. Before social media was even a thing, and they're railing on that video.
Yeah, what they're banging on right here, and this is when I ran into this, I'm like, oh wow, this is a LinkedIn. What's a LinkedIn?
Mm-hmm.
So now this guy's hating on me, but he's teaching me. Like I didn't take it as hate, right? I'm like, what's LinkedIn? And so I'm like, oh, LinkedIn is where professional people go. And so I opened a LinkedIn account that day. Mm-hmm. And I just leaned into it. I'm like, oh, wow.
So that dude is what got you on LinkedIn.
This hater is what got me going.
That's great. You've got a really interesting perspective on haters that is real, that everybody will say, but not necessarily believe.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll talk to people that'll try this stuff out, and they'll get a negative comment or whatever, and it kills them. They're like, that's it, I can't do it, nobody likes me, whatever. You have absolute 100%, at least it appears to me, immunity to that. Like, you could just not give a damn about the haters. How do you develop that? I remember working out with you, asking you, like, have you always had this the don't give a damn trait?
I was like, my junior and senior year in high school, I was probably the most hated kid in the school. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I got beat up twice a week at school. I literally changed shirts. Today I get beat up. And I've never been a big dude, so like when the whole football team hates your guts because you're dating their girls, Jan, Renee, you know, both of you at the same time. Like I was out, okay, so I'm not a fullback, I'm not a tight end, I'm not a, you know,
There's so many places.
Okay, so I'm not the quarterback, you know. So and I got beat up all the time. So, and I wasn't willing to conform, and so. And that got me in a lot of trouble, but I wasn't the light guy, and I somehow figured out how to move through the system. So now you take a guy like that that's finally got to where I'm at today. The hate bothers me a little less, but I wish everybody liked me.
Yeah.
You know, I would like that.
But it doesn't stop you.
But
I mean, there was a guy hating on you before the dang, or you know, a pregame.
Yeah. But for me, it's now it's the people that have hated on me the most have done the least.
Yeah.
The people that hated on me, none of them amounted to anything. It's not like any of these people are somebody to look up to.
I have a theory. I always advise people. I say, hey, man, you know, because I think at the end of the day, no one wants to be judged negatively. We're afraid of judgment.
Right, that's right.
And my advice to them is, dude, you're getting judged anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we, you know, I mean, everyone except me does this.
Or worse, you're not getting judged.
Well, that would be near invisible.
Yeah, and that's a problem. So like
you walk
can't
down the street, you getting judged. You know, you'd be judged by a stranger. Like, look at that jive ass son of a bitch over there, the ugly ass shoes. You ain't got nothing. You just thinking it in your mind, you know. So they hating on you anyway.
Well,
you know,
somewhere along the line, I think particularly in 2007 and 2008, I really felt like I had let my family down because I had not, you know, when I told Elaine, I'm like, hey, we're in trouble here. And the whole world was in trouble, but I was worried about my family. And I'm like, I'm in trouble, and I took responsibility for it because nobody knew me. Can't buy my books, can't buy my programs, can't buy my services, I can't feed my family. And so for me that day, it was like, you have to get known no matter what, dude. If they don't know you, they will not buy your services. And I had failed my family because people didn't know me. So when the YouTube and the Facebook, the social media things started popping up, I didn't have any money to advertise. I couldn't go buy a billboard. I couldn't get on TV. I couldn't buy radio. When these things started popping up, I thought God, because I'm praying, man. I'm like, God, please show me the way out. Boom, Facebook. I'm like, shit, let's roll.
So I start talking to you more often.
I'm like, oh my God, man, these are tools. And all my buddies were like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I don't have time for that. And then the rest of the world was just watching them. Like when I see social media, I see so many people being just turned into spectators. A guy named Lord Sugar, he's the Donald Trump of England. He was like, I still don't know what Instagram does. I'm like, dude, you don't know what Instagram does? Instagram makes spectators. And they manufacture spectators at Instagram. So if you've ever wanted an audience, they're right there, man. Just people waiting to be affected by a message. And it's either going to be the watch message, the big car message, the football message, the drama message, earthquake last night in California message, the Republican or the Democratic message, or it's going to be your message. And I've just decided to lay my message there and get attention.
It's a very important point. I mean, basically what you're saying is they're giving somebody attention.
Dude, the service.
It might as well be you.
Yeah, he's like, there's no product in Instagram. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Okay, it's basically a Super Bowl every second of every day. If you could figure out how to send a message to that Super Bowl, and there's Super Bowls, there's like all these Super Bowls going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't even have to be in the Super Bowl. I don't have to be with the NFL. I can literally drop in if I have an appropriate message, sell a product, a suitable product. You won't sell a product if you don't have great products like this offer we're making you guys today, CardoneKern.com/yes.
Let's still be cool and hook them up.
This product is so stupid. It's so easy for people to make a decision to spend, rather than spending $3,000 or $4,000, you get a program under $1,000, and we walk you through exactly what he's talking about today, codifying the step-by-step content, when, what platform, because they're all different.
Absolutely.
Because he's just bringing you the first 2 or 3 years, but now start layering on.
I'm trying to get your mindset out of this thing, because the way you think is critically important. It affects what you're saying.
In the period of time that you've covered, Meerkat comes and it goes.
Yeah.
I became the #1. I mean, one of the things that got me jacked up was when I passed Madonna on Meerkat. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to be a star. I just passed it. Madonna
on Meerkat.
I didn't understand the reason I passed Madonna on Meerkat was because Meerkat was about to die. Only time I've been #1 in my whole damn life, and the whole platform collapses.
You broke Meerkat.
So I'm like, okay, but that's cool, dude. Don't depend on one. This is like I tell people all the time, never depend on one flow.
Yeah.
And they think I'm talking about money. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, my teacher, Dan Kennedy, says that. 1 is the most dangerous number in business.
Yeah.
He's like,
I love that.
Dude, forward over, now we're in 2010. I did the dumbest thing in 2010, by the way. I'll go ahead and tell you what I did. This is how, oh my God, what I wouldn't give for a time machine. So I had a Twitter account, started messing around with social media, and I'm an ad guy, so I'm like, if you can't control it monetarily, it's a waste of time, and you're just messing around with an asset that could die at any minute. I turned all my stuff off.
Oh my God.
Had a Twitter account, killed it, dead.
Oh my God.
YouTube, gone. Just like Facebook.
Because a lot of the people in the ad business, like the Kennedys and those guys, the
direct response. Like
the pioneers of direct response.
We didn't quite get it because they're like, well, you can't control it. You can't put $1 in and measurably get it. Like you can if it's an ad platform, but we're like, well, this is going to go away. There's no point in messing with it.
Yeah.
Wrong. It didn't go away.
What year was that? 10?
2010.
Yeah.
Now in 2010, here's what I noticed from you. All right, September 11, 2010.
So just so everybody knows, I've never studied ROI, return on investment, on any platform we have, ever.
Yes, it is.
And
I would love to film some of our conversations because it's great.
Yeah.
You're like the Army Rangers of advertising. Just
But
nuke everything.
But we make a lot of money.
I know.
So
it's like because
I don't know where I'm at in
scarcity.
the hierarchy of who makes the most money online, but
okay.
we have to be up in the top 1 percentile.
Yeah. September 11th, 2010. You released a video about middle class money thinking. You think you can pull it up? We might get these out of order.
I'm looking for content to go mainstream.
Well, here's what's
so
interesting
I realized the
about
problem.
You still talk about it today, and the reason I bring it up
because nobody listens.
Well, so one of the things
this was you trying to get into the money conversation.
Yeah,
So at this point, he had started moving through understanding the platforms, and then he was like, I got to give them different content about something they're interested in.
I knew.
This whole line on the middle class.
I knew we were in the wrong frequency. I knew, like that video that you showed earlier about me saying your salespeople suck. When I did that video, I'm like, you know how small this audience is.
Yeah.
I was aware every time I would do a video, like I was listening, even if you weren't. And so I'm like, you know how small that audience is? I got to open this message up.
Yeah.
And then remember, I'm committed. Like if you guys are committed, to getting known, then you will do whatever it takes to get known, including grabbing this program and any program. You will do whatever it takes.
And more importantly, the work that we teach you to do.
Yeah, but first you got to have the data.
Yeah.
American Idol. I'm watching American Idol one night. I'm like, fuck, look at all these people showing up in this stadium, waiting days and days and days, hoping they get an audition.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing, man? Okay, you gotta start talking entertainment. That's one thing. Two, you gotta start talking money. There was a video that I did. Well, we did it at my house. Actually, it was for me, for our office. We were still in LA at the time, and we basically drew Grant out. Okay, I think this is part of our offer today. I know it is. Okay, and where you get to identify what can you talk about. Because I was talking about one thing I could talk about, but I was ignoring 17 other conversations I could have, one of which came out of this conversation, which was I was brought up in the middle class. And I started telling this story about the middle class. I'm also a twin. I started talking about being a twin. Oh, I lost my dad. And I started building storylines. Oh, I lost my dad when I was 10 years old. I started for the first time in my career talking about losing a dad. And then, oh, I was a drug addict at 23 years old, from 16 to 23 years old. Bam! I start opening up my audience, okay? And my audience starts growing because I'm no longer talking about what I'm great at.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about what I've lived through.
You're building affinity and empathy.
Yeah.
What's interesting?
What do you call that?
Affinity and empathy.
Yeah.
What do you say to people that think that every post needs to be a groundbreaking new masterpiece? And this is why I brought this video up. Because you still, to this day, now it's 2019, 9 years later, you're still giving the same message.
Yeah. About
middle-class money thinking it's going to mess you up.
Yeah.
And so another huge objection about making content is, oh my God, I got to create a New York Times best-selling book every day in order to stay relevant.
Yeah.
You've been saying the same thing for 9 years.
This was September 11th, 2010. I'm not talking about 9/11 that day.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell you right now, when I look at that, I'm looking at, oh, today's 9/11 day. Turn on the TV, you know what you're seeing every day. All day long. That's all you see all day long. I'm like, oh, I'm getting killed by 9/11 today. Like, 9/11's killing people every 9/11. They replay it, man. I hated what happened on 9/11. I remember where I was. I remember exactly what happened. But I'm like, how can I compete with planes flying into buildings? You can't. So that day, I'm starting to say, hey, let me go talk to all these other people that don't have enough money today.
And what's interesting is you still have the same message.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like, it's 9 years. You haven't reinvented the wheel.
Because nobody's actually heard that message yet. Yeah. That's the reason I'm stuck with that message, even though it has never made us any money. It's turned a lot of people off. It will. Sooner or later, if I live long enough, I'm going to figure out how to tell that story to where it's gonna go mainstream. Some of the things that you jump on, you cannot expect to get a return on it because you might be too early.
Yep.
Who wrote the movie? Who pitched the movie and nobody picked it up, or the book? There's all these stories of all these guys.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter wasn't
J.K. Rowling.
No one picked up her book, and now she's a billionaire.
No, but there was a movie that was pitched all over everywhere for, I don't know, 11 years or something, and nobody would pick it up.
Got nothing.
Anyway.
Yeah.
There's a story, like I just think I'm telling a story or writing a book or, you guys got to stay with it. Don't bail out because there's no ROI. And this is why I don't do studies.
Yeah.
Like on I don't have a metric. Unfortunately, Taylor hates this, but I don't have a metric on every video I do.
Yeah. And nor do you have a concept of limitation. So it all ties back to this thing. It's like there is no limit, and you're like 7 billion. That's literally the entire population of the world.
Yeah, not by the time I get to it.
Yeah,
it'll be 8 billion. So I'm still thinking about that.
No concept of limitation at all. It's always expansion, which is really important.
I'm still thinking about those first 6 views.
Yeah.
Right. The first live stream I did, dude, there was 30 people, 29 people on the first live stream I ever did. I cannot tell you guys how excited I was. I was like, oh my God. Went to Atlanta, run to her. It was Meerkat. 29 people just saw me for 1 hour. And by the way, my shit's long. You know.
You're railing.
It doesn't matter. 29 people, 3 people, 2,000 people. You know. I'm like, because I'm working out my content. I'm working out my story too. So the fact that 29 people would listen to me for me to work out my stuff.
Where it would have normally taken you multiple flights across country, 8 billion phone calls just to get an audience with one person.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think some of you guys that are watching right now and that have taken advantage of the CardoneKern.com/yes offer that we have today, you need to remember, like, this isn't going to happen overnight. Okay, I've done 30,000 presentations, 90% of which was unpaid. Still do unpaid gigs today. You know, it's you got to be willing to tell the story and tell the story again and tell the story again and tell the story again and tell the story again, and all of a sudden you're like, bam, I just hit the perfect story, the perfect storyline. It wasn't the opening, it wasn't the end, it was a little part right about 70% of the way through, and you're like, boom, that's that little piece.
That's
and
the
then
one.
and then yeah.
All right, we fast forward. Now you're on the Facebooks. All right, now this is weird. So Facebook says
first Facebook page
yeah.
was a personal page with a limit of 5,000.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Nobody told me that. And so I went right through those 5,000, like, and they were all in that industry that I was trying to be less dependent upon.
So how did that happen? 5,000, like, that's a big, like, you know, there are a lot of people right now be like, damn, like, you just.
I banged it out, man. I was dropping content there every day, but it was the wrong 5,000 people. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you know, I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it.
Yeah.
We still have that page today. I've dumped 4,000 or 5,000 people off just a couple months ago. I'm like, let's get rid of those people and bring on some new ones.
What was going on when you started this? Here's the thing I typed out. It says, Facebook says he created your page in January 2011, but I found a post that goes all the way back to August of 2010. That's why.
Okay.
It has 5 likes, no comments. Today you got over 6 million fans. Here's the post, by the way, so it's on the screen there. So that's the one. What was going on now? I mean, so it was like you're through the horror of 2007.
Yeah.
You got a little experience under your belt.
Yeah, I'm through the horror.
You know, you're kind of getting everything going. What was going on in the business when you started your page?
Oh, dude, I think we were selling iPods.
It was the G-Pod.
The G-Pod.
Yeah?
So this is where we started, like, repurposing content, and I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to make money, like, you know.
Without having to be on a plane traveling all around the world every day.
Yeah, and you didn't have a huge following.
So 2007.
Based on the amount of likes,
no,
5 likes.
I did 5 likes.
Yeah, 5 likes, no comments.
Yeah, and no unlike, no not likes.
But there's no comments. There's
Yeah.
nothing. You know, I mean,
No
it's
comments.
like, yeah. So once again, like, you still keep
meant
on.
nothing to me, dude. Meant nothing.
So where someone, like, even I probably would do this. I'd be like, oh, to hell with it. Facebook's not for me. I'm doing better on YouTube. I would just stick with YouTube.
Yeah.
Why
no,
did you
because
stay?
Because all of them were 5 people. That's 5 people.
Yeah.
So 5 people here, 5 people there, 5 people over here. Like, don't trust one thing. I don't want to be dependent upon these platforms. I'd already created a broken business. Mm-hmm. I spent 20 years building a broken company. Meaning it made money, but it was dependent upon a handful of people.
Yeah.
I remember having to go kiss the ring of people that I didn't like. You know, people that didn't respect me, people that didn't appreciate my services, people that no matter what price I gave them, the price was too high. Mm-hmm. And even no matter what I did for the client, they still would freaking try to chop me on price, not pay me. And I was like, I am so sick of being treated like shit.
Yeah.
You know? And the issue, and I'm begging for the business, dude. I'm 20 years, I guess I was almost 50 years old. I'm begging for people's business.
Yeah.
I'm like, when do I get to quit begging? And then one day I realized, dude, you're begging, bro, because my wife had come back for an audition. Mm-hmm. She's an actress. She came back. I felt like her because she was wrecked. Mm-hmm. They hated me. I did terrible.
How could anybody hate on Elena?
Because she wasn't the right part. They wanted a white girl, and they went with they actually decided to go with a Latin girl. So and I was like, oh, that's what I do. Mm-hmm.
You're auditioning every day.
I'm auditioning every day. And somebody else is in control of the script. And they decided, no, let's go with a tall guy rather than a short guy. Mm-hmm. And I was tired of getting beat by other people with content that wasn't as good. Because they had a promotion company. This other dude that kept kicking my teeth in, a competitor, he had a company promoting him. Mm. And he was in a lot more places. His content was shit.
He was known before going in. They were softened up.
He was known. You know, exactly.
Yeah.
So he had the advantage. He was better known with a worse product. And I was like, wow, dude, what am I doing wrong? I had a better product but I was less known.
And you've said that so many times, that best known always
best known beats
product.
best product. And so I'm like, I have to figure out how to get known. I'm going to quit kissing the ring. And the way to I didn't quit kissing the ring immediately, by the way. So, because I needed money.
Yeah.
So
I started kissing it.
You said Jared made him kiss
that
the ring
goes back
for
to
him.
EED. EED. If anybody can guess what EED means, I give you $100. So I continue to work this one audience because I needed to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But any money that came from that, I was started using to buy exposure online.
Yeah. So you started, no one's paying
still
attention,
didn't-
unfazed by it. I guess that's the thing.
No, I was phased, dude. I was phased, trust
You
me.
just kept going though. Because here's what's going to happen. Like, people will watch this,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, okay, man, I'm fired up. I'm going to start putting out content. Tomorrow, they're going to be like, 2 people saw it, to hell with it. It doesn't work. I'm not Grant. I'm not Frank. I don't have the power. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to really drive home. Is it's like, nobody starts with 1,000 likes or whatever and like all this notoriety. Like,
Dude,
you
look,
really
we've made so
freaking-
many mistakes. We bought followers. I would not recommend it.
Yeah, that's just. I'm going to
we
make
have-
fun of you
we
about
have,
that.
huh?
I'm going to make fun of you about that later.
Oh, you were?
I'm
Okay.
going to.
We-
now that I know you've done it. Yeah.
You know, I didn't lean into Instagram soon enough. I wasted 2 or 3 years. I didn't watch other people, what they were doing. That helped me and hurt me. There's an upside to not watching. And there's some people I click off on. I don't want to see their content because then I'm like, oh, I want to try that. And I'm like, I don't need to be that guy. Like, so, but there's other people that I turned off and I could have learned something from them. So there's both of those. I didn't collaborate with people. I should have collaborated sooner. Now we're doing a lot of collaboration. This really helped me grow my platforms. The other thing that we've done right is we have never the entire time given up on the traditional ways of doing business.
Which is just get in front of somebody and make an offer.
Still call a guy, hey, I'll fly over there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, still doing that. Still, we use everything. Conferences, we do the biggest conferences in the world now.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to do the biggest conferences in the world now because of what we've done with social media, and what you're going to learn out of this offer today is why 35,000 people showed up in Miami. There's only one person on planet Earth that has ever put one speaker in the entire world, and I'm bragging right now.
Brag on, bro.
But there's only one person on the entire planet that's ever put that many people in a room for a educational conference. And that was me. Without a promoter, without a professional promoting,
Yeah.
with doing it themselves. Controlled the environment, controlled the ticket price, controlled the seats, controlled everything. And my whole crew back here, I didn't do it by myself. None of us know how to do that.
Yeah.
But it's because of what you're going to learn in the offer that Frank's going to make you today. Okay?
And again, man, I know I'm just flogging a dead horse, but it is again pointing back to the zero regard for any concept of limitation. And so,
Dude, I knew my content was good. I've known the whole time. You got to believe in your service. Like, if you got to believe in what you're doing. Do you believe in you? You know, do you believe in you? Do you believe in your content? Do you believe that you're special? I believe I'm special. Like, I got to tell you, like, I've always believed I have a special message. I think most people out there have a message. I think we're all a bunch of little walking entities of God, expressions of God, and you have a different message than I did. Jared's got a different message. Francisco's got a different delivery. And God's using all these people to deliver. But if I don't know you, like Mother Teresa was alive today, she would have to have a Facebook page.
I hope she would let us represent
And
her.
she would,
I'd hope she'd let us represent her.
yeah, and she would have to advertise. She can't just show up organically. Another mistake I made.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to you have to feed the beast. Meaning when you find something that works, you put money on it. And Frank's going to share with you CardoneKern.com/yes.
How to
Notice
do
how
that.
many times I offer something.
Yeah. Constantly.
Like I have zero shame about it. Why? Because I believe in my product. So ask yourself this question. Do you believe in your product? Do you believe in your mission? Do you believe in your family? If you say yes to all three of those things, then hey, don't quit worrying about how you feel. Okay? Then what I do is I show up every day, I make an offer, and I show up every day and I make an offer. And I don't have any shame about it because I'm not ripping people off. I have 30 years of not screwing people over. I am not a charlatan. I don't make stuff up. Everything that we share with you in this program, we've done it. We put money behind it, and we've made money for people. So
I want to talk about, speaking of all this time, all right, so you were talking about sales and finance and stuff, and that's what you came out of the gate, sales, and moved into finance. When did you start talking about real estate, and how was it received? And I want to set up the question for you, all right? So there's a thing that can stick in your head when you're doing social media or whatever, that if once I start talking about a thing, this is the only thing I can talk about forever, and I'm stuck here. And you, like, just out of nowhere, here comes real estate. At least that's where it seemed to me. You know, I'm sure there was. How was it received? Did you go through any of that?
This guy's been watching all, like, what he's going to share with you. I could not have done, because I can't look at it the way you looked at my career. You looked at it as a third party looking in.
Well, I'm an analyzer. Bad guy.
But you weren't in my skin either. So you're able to see it without the sensation that I'm experiencing. So when, you got to remember, I was stuck in this automotive space, okay? And I'm trying to cross over, and it's so hard to cross over. Like, it's almost impossible for people to cross over. And then I told myself, dude, you got to quit saying it's impossible to cross over, because if you don't cross over, you're going to die. This industry is going to get decimated in your lifetime. So, and even if it doesn't get decimated, they're cheap. They don't want to spend money. The offer you're making them, they don't actually want, even though they need it. Big difference. What people want and what people need are completely different. What they need, they many times will not pay for. What they want is what they will always pay for. So when we crossed over from sales, I think the first crossover was what, Jared? To money.
Right? Yeah, well, it was definitely.
And then the real estate was actually that was the justification of why he was qualified to talk about it, because he never talked about. So he was making $10 million a year in real estate when
I was making more money in real estate before I wasn't telling anybody. What I was doing was making money here, taking all of it and throwing it in real estate. And
would you still give that message? It's just as recently as yesterday with the video to the rappers and stuff. So, like, driving back, like, once you find the core messages, man, you ain't got to reinvent the wheel. But so how was it received? And were you just like, you know what, I'm going to start talking about real estate now? Like, did you?
No. The first time I heard anything about the real estate, I was doing a live seminar, and these guys were like, I'm sick of hearing about your damn real estate. I'm like, shit, I got to talk about that more.
See, that is
I got to talk about
really
real estate
noting.
more, okay?
Because most people are like, oh shit, okay.
Because the guy in the room that was telling me that knows nothing about what we're talking about. He's sitting there pissed off at me. Look, the hater's not a hater, they're a quitter. Like, you guys got to quit admiring haters. It's like admiring a terrorist. They're not terrorists, they're cowards. They blew something up, right? So the guy, he didn't walk in and said, let's have a gunfight. He's not like, he blew something up without anybody knowing anything. He's a coward, and the hater is not trying to stop me. He's a quitter. He quit on getting known. So I had heard this all along the way. Grant posts too much. Grant's too noisy. Grant abuses the platform. Grant asks for, he makes an offer too often. Grant's always trying to monetize. All those people were wrong. The whole time I'm hearing all this, I just keep doubling down. I'm like, double down, dude. Double down. These are quitters.
Yeah, I really want to extract that psychology, because if we could just implant that into the viewership, we would do the greatest service to the people watching this possible. Like, we wouldn't even need to give a single tactic. If we could just take that way of thinking, go, boop, here you go, like uploading it into a hard drive. Wait, what is
my family started telling me, what are you doing on social media? I'm like, oh, I'm on to something big now. Okay, my sister would call me. Oh, I saw that you were in doing that. What are you doing? I'm like, hey, don't believe everything you see over there. You can, like, literally, I have to call my family before I go on a trip and say, don't believe everything that you hear about where I'm going. I'm flying into Iran. What I'm trying to get attention, right? I'm trying to crush through a lot of noise. So you either can't take it personally, but I choose to actually say, no, I'm going to use it as what I should do. So anywhere I get a lot of unlikes and stuff, I mean, the video I did about the kid that came to my office, we started videoing everything. Like, I'm like, shit, you never know when you're gonna get something good. So this kid comes to my office, he wanted a job. We found out he owed me $1,000 or something, but he wanted a job from me. We videoed that. It's the most dislikes I've ever gotten from any video. People are like, I can't believe you called this guy out. The guy owed me $1,000 fucking, okay? I called him out, posted it on YouTube with his permission. And who says, I can't believe Grant Cardone did that to that kid? People that don't pay their bills.
Yeah.
So the people that said they hate my guts over that are people that don't want to be called out. Like, I mean, that's, they owe somebody money and they can't imagine being that kid in that seat. So either way, people know me because of that, you know, and that's when about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I started saying, you know, if I could just get half the people in the country to hate my guts, I could be the president. And then I think Donald Trump heard me.
It was like, I'm going for it.
I'm going for it, man.
I'm going to see what happens. Yeah, but it really, I come up with, you know, what are the biggest things that stop people from doing it. And that's one of them, that negative feedback from the market. And it guts them.
And so
and
on
it
this
fuels you.
And it fuels me. And like the real estate thing, like right now I lost a deal. I was trying to buy a piece of real estate and we were posting it on Instagram before I got it. And it actually, it bothered the seller. There was 2 people trying to buy the deal, and they gave it to the other guy supposedly because of that post. And we just don't want to deal with you because you're all over the social media. We don't understand it. I'm in a very conservative space, but there's a lot of you out there, doctors, financial advisors, bankers, anybody in that very professional space, and you're like, I can't use this because I'm regulated, okay? Yep. When I heard I lost a deal about this, I told Elaine, I said, oh my God, I'm gonna buy $1 billion worth of real estate because of social media. So the fact that those people will never forget, oh, that's the guy that posts. That's who I'll be. That's the guy that posts online. So I'm willing to take that. I'm willing to be known, good or bad.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather be known than not be known. Because I can get a deal if they know me.
Yeah.
And they'll remember me. It's not just getting known. I got to get known.
Woodway.
Yeah. I got to get known, and then I also have to get remembered. So the same week that I said that, I lost a deal.
Mm-hmm. This was when you were in John Wick. That weekend?
No, that wasn't John Wick. Why you got to bring me there? So
you can always
we were in Houston, Texas, a week after that deal. We were in Houston, Texas. I was looking for property. There was, I think we had 15 properties we looked at. They were all listed properties. Mm-hmm. They weren't for sale. I didn't like any of them. And we drove across one property called Woodway Square in Houston, Texas. And I'm like, this is it. This is the one. Who owns it? We went and did the research, found out who owned it, called the guy up. And I said, look, I know you guys tried to sell about 18 months ago. You didn't get your number. Just tell me what I got to do. Tell me the price. Tell me the terms. Mm-hmm. I'm your guy. Never heard of you. We knew exactly who to call, right? Never heard of you. I said, no problem. Do a little research on me. Here's some names. I've never heard of you. Listen to what he said. I've never heard of you. He's a huge company. He's the top 3 biggest apartment owners in the world. And he controls all the dispositions for this company. This is a great story, right? So I said, look, Gino, just do a little research. Here's a name, here's a name, here's a name. These 3 guys know me. These 3 guys have done deals with you. That's why it goes back to, it's not who I know. I knew him. He didn't know me. Mm-hmm. I said, put your name in my calendar. I'll fly out and meet you. I'm going old school now. I got to go shake his hand. He's my age. Mm-hmm. He's not on Facebook. I called to confirm the meeting. I said, hey, Gino, just want to be sure you're going to be there Monday. He's like, Grant, you don't need to come out. Now I'm Grant. Something changed, man. I said, what the hell just happened here? I said, no, I'm coming out anyway, dude. I'm coming out anyway. I got to talk to this military group I'm coming out to talk to. And he's like, my son, 19 years old, follows you and loves your material. I got that deal because of the son.
Because of the willingness.
My name was on his calendar, old school calendars, okay? He put it down with a pencil. His kid walks in. His kid's never used a calendar, never used a pencil, and said, you know, Grant Cardone? Grant Cardone?
You that dude? He's coming.
And I got that deal. Now, that deal will probably make me $20 million.
Is it part of Fund 4?
Yes, it is.
Nice. I'm in Fund 4. Okay. Hey, all y'all wondering about that Cardone Capital thing,
but
you need
look,
to get in there.
One post on YouTube, or how many posts I had to make on YouTube. Now, the post I made on YouTube did not get Gino. Mm-hmm. This is so important for you to know. It's called collateral effect. Marketing. Okay? And so what we do is we're bombing the internet. Okay, sales, follow-up. Well, I took the sales stuff that I did the first 20 years and I started breaking it down. Mm-hmm. Incoming calls, outbound calls, follow-up calls, motivation, how to stay excited, how to train a sales team, like anything. We just took sales, the whole thing of sales, and just started breaking it down into little pieces and started feeding the internet all over the place. We also, when we did that, that's how you build your content out. Like if you go to my website, you'll see so many different offers. I have more products, more offers than anybody in the world. And you need a lot of inventory. Everybody watching this, you have to have a lot of inventory. Then when we started crossing over into other millionaire booklet, how to become the financial package, the wealth creation formula, the real estate. Well, the kid, I don't know how I know how the kid knows me. Social media.
Yeah.
He doesn't know me because any of my content. He just knows me because I'm using Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah. And it also points to something that's really, really important, especially for the long game, which is what you make today and post. Unless you take it down, it's there forever. And every single post, every single piece of content is actually an asset in the business.
Yeah.
So what happened with that kid is he saw something he liked, and then he went and watched 9 million things from you, and now the kid loves you and tells his dad to do the deal because you had created all those things. And that's really important about that long-term aspect of doing this. It's not like, okay, we're going to make a post today and it's going to go viral and we're going to get $1 billion.
You're making a good point. You're making a good point about the quantity of content because we're in a binge. I think we're in a binge society now where people want to find something they like, familiarity, and binge on it. And that's why you want a variety of content. You need quantities of content. Frank's going to show you at cardonekern.com/yes how to create lots of content, price points, what to call it. This guy's a genius on what to call things.
We got to congratulate some people. Look at this.
Hey, James, Rico, David, Brown, Orjan, Ashley, Scott Wallace, Joe McCall, congratulations.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Okay.
I want you to get into the. I want you to start teaching them though how to do this, guys. You're
tired of being interviewed.
Yeah, he's just asking me questions, but he's going to start breaking all this down for you.
Yeah.
How to do it, when to do it, when to post, what to say, what to call it, what platform to use, how often to, return on investment. You want to grab a couple more?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to.
When to start collaborating with other people. You guys should be collaborating, man. Collaboration can take your stuff and put it on freaking like super nitro.
Yeah, I've actually only got 3 more questions. I think 4 more questions from you. All right. So here's the thing. I've listened to, like, seriously, probably 200 episodes of your podcast at least. Hell, I probably listened to that before I ever reached out to you.
The podcast was a huge mistake.
Of not doing it sooner?
What we did when the podcast was we had 5 different podcasts.
Check it out, showing them on the screen. That's awesome. Yeah, you did.
We had the Cardone Zone, the first one, Young Hustlers. That was Jared's idea. That was brilliant, Jared, by the way. Jared's like, we got to go after millennials. Mm-hmm. Cardone Zone, we had the G&E show. We created that show actually to allow us another genre and to soften me. Okay, you got to know your weaknesses. You got to know your strengths when you're marketing, and you got to know your weaknesses. And my weakness was I'm offensive. That's why we had the T-shirt. Let me see the T-shirt again. Okay, these people that hooked up already, you know, this is kind of a joke. I apologize in advance. John, what's John's name that gave us this? Bodan gave me these shirts. You know, but you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to apologize awesome. In advance, right? You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't. You don't want to make this mistake that I've made of being so. That's a mistake. You don't want to do that. Don't mimic that. That's not a good plan. I brought my wife in to soften the edges up. Okay, that show actually we get more feedback from people. We don't get comments. We don't get likes. But once a guy has one drink, hey man, I watch a show on Wednesdays. Okay, tell me what do you do? How do you handle? You know, like Tuesdays we do the Power Player interview. That was a collaboration show, and then Mondays we do the real estate show. The point I'm making is this: we had all those as separate podcasts, and it was a disaster. And it was my idea. I'm like, we got to have 5 different shows. I want to be all over the net. It was stupid because we every time somebody calls and says, hey, tell me about your podcast views or how many downloads you have, we had to go to 5 different places. They should have all been one thing.
Regardless of all of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry.
Probably, no, but it's a good point, which is just get it all together and make it easy. That's the thing. You want to make it easy for people.
Yeah.
You've been talking about 3 things right? So I went through like, dude, I mean, I, know your entire life story to the point that you've made it public anyway from listening so much to your content to get this thing right. So you're talking about 3 things pretty much all the time. Number 1, 10x everything. Right, and under that umbrella is like, you got to get known, you got to increase your outflow and all that kind of thing. Number 2 is, hey, look, you got to get your money right. The middle class money mentality is real bad. And number 3, multifamily real estate is the greatest thing ever. And I'm simplifying it. But those are like, if you were to go, if you were to like listen to any of the stuff.
And everybody should have 3 pillars. So like you should have your main core messages. Is that what you're getting to?
Well, I'm wondering what you would say to people who think they have to come up with brand new stuff every day.
No, dude. You need to be authentic. You don't need brand new stuff every day. You need a bigger audience every day. Like, I remember this thing about P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum, P.T. Barnum, the circus guy, right? He would go to Arkansas with his circus, and he'd be like, hey, remember, it's the same giraffes, same elephants. You sell to a passing parade. And so I said this earlier.
Important.
You sell to a passing parade.
Yeah.
And the parade, it can be Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson comes to your show, and Mr. Johnson comes back to your show. And Mr. Johnson comes back to your show again. Mr. Johnson was a different guy every time. So you guys, when Mr. Johnson goes to LinkedIn, he is a different person than when he goes to Facebook. Different expectation, different tone, everything's different. When Mr. Johnson goes from Facebook to pornography, different guy. Then he goes to church, different dude again. Then he goes to the golf course, different guy, right? So, and by the way, he could be at a golf course with a different group and change again. He's with his buddies, they're drinking tequila, he's talking about his porn site he visited last night. He's on a business meeting, he's not bringing that up, he's talking about how he goes to church. So this guy shifts, your audience is shifting, they're all the time shifting. Their interest is different. They're going through different things every day. So I could say the same thing today, exactly the same thing today. Repeat it again tomorrow, assume no one heard anything. And all of a sudden it gets through, it cracks through to you. You're like, dude, I've been thinking the same thing. You're thinking it because I told you 20 days ago. And it took 20 days to crack through your hardness and finally get in. And the second time you heard it, you heard it. Some people it takes 20 and 30, 50 times to hear something.
It took, I'm like 47 and finally started investing in real estate.
I had a car dealer.
My grandfather made millions investing in real estate. He's like, you dumbass, you should be investing in real estate before he died. Didn't listen.
I had a car dealer yesterday I was on the phone with. Again, this is a guy, I mean, this is a perfect story. Todd Green, met him, I don't know, 15 years ago, trying to sell him some tickets to an event, old school. He said, you told me 15 years ago I should be buying apartments. And he saw a deal that we closed on in Naples. He's in Indiana. He has a vacation home in Naples. I heard you closed this deal in Naples. Somebody says, hey, you should call Todd. I call Todd. Hey, Todd. Hey, I heard you closed this deal in Naples. Yes, I did. Oh, my God, man, that's great. You're doing great, da-da-da. And he's like, he doesn't follow me on Facebook. This guy has no clue what I'm up to. He's like, when are you going to finally get a plane with all that traveling you're doing? I'm like, I got a plane. He's like, what kind of plane you got? I said, I got a Gulfstream 550. He's like, yeah, bats fly out of my ass. I said, all right, Todd, great talking to you. I hung up the phone. He does not think I own a Gulfstream 550 because he doesn't follow me on the stream, right? But he picked up an article about real estate. Now, 15 years ago, I told this guy he should invest. He's finally, you see what I'm saying? It's like you got to keep repeating the message. And here's a guy that knows me for 15 years and still doesn't follow me on any of these platforms.
So that's the takeaway, though, is you don't have to come up with a new message, nor should you, because A, they ain't paying attention anyway half the time.
That's right.
And it's
like all you guys think I'm showing my plane off. The point of that was you keep talking about the plane. He doesn't even know I own one.
I'm just open again. I mean, I've never been
he wants to get a ride.
Yeah, I've never been.
So you see what I'm saying? You guys are all like, oh my God, he's always showing off the plane. Da 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 da. But look, that guy doesn't even know that I have one. So you have to assume people did not hear the message. If you have a good message, if you have a good product, if you have a good service, you have an obligation.
Get in it.
Talk about it. You know, when I think about people who are interested in themselves, people are interested in their relationships, people are interested in the people they're around, people are interested in the city they live in and maybe the town, and if they can really think big, like Sherry's thinking about everybody on the planet. She's interested in people in Puerto Rico and in Saudi Arabia and like human beings, right? Mm-hmm. There's people that are interested in animals. If you can start incorporate art, there's people interested in art, right? If you can start incorporate God. You know, there's not just Catholics on the planet. There's not just Protestants. There's people that are agnostic to the Catholic. There's Jewish people. There's Muslims. A lot of different people on this planet.
Don't forget our Russian Orthodox.
Our Russian Orthodox, vodka drinking. You know. Yeah, the Orthodox, my Jewish friends. Okay, I was with my Jewish friends. I closed the deal, $94 million bank transaction. Mm-hmm. They gave me $94 million. They're all Jewish. They wear the little hat, the yarmulke. Yarmulke or hamaka?
It's yarmulke, but it's better when you say yarmulke.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, hey guys, can you give me a hat with my $94 million loan? They're like, what do you mean a hat? The hat. Anybody got one? You got them? Who's got the hats? Okay. Okay. This is a true story. This happened last Friday. Okay. My wife's like, you're so offensive. I said, what do you mean I'm offensive? I don't know. I'm not trying to be offensive. I want a hat. I don't know you call it a yarmulke. Okay? And he's like, Grant, you want a hat? We'll get you a hat. Okay? Okay? We'll get you a hat and we'll get you a dinner. And sure enough, they made a 10X hat. We took a picture with it. Meridian Bank gets phone calls the next day. We want yarmulkes with 10X on it.
And didn't you do some branding that got their attention as well?
What was it?
Tired of it there. Tired of it.
Oh, yeah. How did they hear about me? Why did they give me a loan? The day they were going to the loan committee to give me a $94 million loan, they heard an ad on CNBC. Are you tired of missing sales? Tired of missing sales. I say tired of missing sales. CardoneKern.com/yes. How many times have I said that? CardoneKern.com/yes. 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 I said tired of missing sales 16 times in 60 seconds. Why? I'm trying to brand. This is where you have to become a professional marketer. The word brand means to burn in, sear. Oh, I know that guy. That's the goal. I want to get known. Why? Not because I want to be popular. It's because I want to make money. Mm-hmm. So that I can take care of my family, I can take care of my charities, and I can pay Meridian Bank back for the loan.
Yeah, they'll like that.
So there it is, Meridian Bank on the back, right? These are my friends there that gave me a big loan. And you would think these people are not watching social media, but you don't understand. They don't use social media.
They watch it, though.
They watch it.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching it.
Yeah, Facebook skews older.
Yeah.
Facebook is my age and older, primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 31. I'm 47 years old.
And the question is, can your message, and one of the things Frank's going to be showing you, hey man, what content do you need to get a bank's attention? What content do you need to get a millennial's attention? Maybe your product's more skewed for college kids. Maybe it's skewed for an older married couple. Where do you go with that content? What do you say? What do you call it? How do you talk about it? And that's what you're brilliant at.
Thank you very much. I have one last one for you. I want to fix this. All right. People worry that they're going to post too much and that people are going to get tired of them. All right. They go, oh man, people get sick of hearing me. You're everywhere. Like, you cannot escape. Grant Cardone. I did the research, bought all this software and stuff, spied on you. Mm-hmm. Average 6.6 Facebook posts a day. 1.9 Instagram posts.
I've never done this.
Yeah, average of 6.6 Facebook posts per day, 1.9 Instagram posts per day, not including the story posts, which are the swipe up thing.
That's just I've done 7 stories today.
Yeah. So, but there's no app to track it. 17 tweets per day. 1.56 YouTube videos per day.
How many?
1.56 YouTube videos per day.
And we fell off there a little bit.
That was intentional.
Oh, really? See, because people are telling us right now, oh, you need to do less YouTube posts so they'll get more views. I'm like, dude, no, you don't, bro. If you're in the long game, just drop the video.
Just put that on a loop.
The biggest problem that we have right now is we still with all those numbers, I still don't drop enough video. I still don't drop enough video, but to who? I don't have it in Spanish. I don't have it in Russian. I don't have it in Orthodox Jew. I don't have it in Muslim. I don't have it in, huh?
We have it in Mandarin.
We have it in, a little bit in Mandarin. Okay, I don't have it in a Zulu. Like you guys think I'm kidding? I ain't kidding. There's 180 countries on this planet.
Like you're literally serious about the 7 billion thing. That's what I mean. There's literally no concept of limitation with you. But here's the deal.
I'm waiting for my break. That's what I'm waiting for.
You're like, damn, we need to pick it up. And most people would be like, oh shit, I don't want to post that much. It's too much. I'm afraid they're gonna see me too much and they're gonna get mad.
Yeah.
So I've got an answer for that, and then I want yours. So here's mine. I only follow 47 people on social. And Grant can make a post.
You only follow 47 people?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm like one of those people that don't use social media. I promote on social, but I don't actually pay any attention to it because I got an advertising agency to run, so I can finally make you some money. You know, because I worry about you. You're only down to 1 Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Y'all, we got to pray for Grant. He's down to 1 Rolls. He ain't got but one. You know. So anyway, here's the deal, right? So I follow like 40-something. You can make a post. 5 minutes later, your post is like all the way down the feed. So that's thing number one, is you ain't going to oversaturate them because they ain't following just you. They're following like 600, 700, 1,000 other people.
Yeah.
So that's thing number one. What's your take on, though, like being in front of them too much? Because you literally, I'm like reading all these stats, which is like, translates to you put out a crap load of posts, and you're like, man, we got to get in other languages. We got to pump up even more.
I mean, you know, I just think that, I think it's just impossible for me to post too much. So, I don't know how it would be possible for me to post too much. Like it's just completely ridiculous. Because the second that I post, there goes the Bleacher Report. There goes one of our affiliates right there that just posted. This is just the people I'm looking at. Grant Cardone Mandarin, that just posted. Like I don't know how many people are on social media, but somebody's posting before and after me. So I'm in competition with all these people. So are you. You're competing with all of them.
That's
what I would like to do,
yeah.
You know, is somebody going to quit watching me because I post too much? Maybe. If they're going to quit because I post too much, I guarantee you, I'll never get that credit card.
So you might as well not let them stop you. Who cares?
They're not going to stop. They quit. They're not hating on me. They're quitting on them.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to, you got to redefine a hater. You guys give attention to the hater too much. You give attention to being liked too much. I'm not trying to be liked. You know, and this is where I'm different, and you're going to be talking about this today. I'm not interested in likes. I'm interested in what I can bring to the bank. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in customers that want to pay me and want to do business with me. The people that I affect are the people that exchange with me. There's economics is a flow. It's a flow. It's a what's the word? It's a
Cycle?
No, not a cycle, but like a ecological chamber. It's an ecosystem. Okay? People that don't pay don't enter the ecosystem. They sit out here and watch. They're watching the ecosystem. Like I can affect people in the ecosystem. I don't affect people out here. I don't affect them until they come in and exchange with me. You guys that don't monetize, this is where I have strong aversion to the don't monetize message, okay? If you can't monetize, he doesn't enter your system. Our best clients, our best customers, the relationships, the people that I can depend on the most of my life have not only entered my ecosystem, they have bought everything. We are doing business back and forth now, okay? I'm giving to their charity, they're giving to my charity. They're funding Cardone Capital. They don't just buy our Cardone University, they do our advertising with us. They do Cardone University.
These are people whose businesses have literally been affected. You hear the stories, millions of dollars.
Yeah, hundreds of millions.
Literally every day.
And one business from last week, $7 million a year in additional revenue. Like it's
yeah, so the goal for him is anybody that's they got Cardone University, a $100,000 program. I want him to make millions of dollars, so he puts millions of dollars with Cardone Capital, and then he actually helps me fund Grant Cardone Foundation. Okay, and I help him fund some of his stuff, or maybe I bring him to the growth conference where there's 13,000 people, and he gets to get his product or service in front of people, or maybe Cardone Ventures goes in and says, hey, let's take you, you're a freaking awesome company, but you're stuck. Let's take you now to $1 billion. Like that, I want them in the ecosystem. All these people out here, I'm just going to keep promoting to the ecosystem, and you'll get sucked into this deal. If the deal is real, if you have a real product and a real service, You got to keep building the ecosystem out, and to do that, all the money generated from the ecosystem goes back into making the ecosystem bigger and more acceptable to the masses to suck in these people that need our products and services. Will you show them how to do this finally?
I would be glad.
Okay.
I'd be delighted to.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Go,
All right,
hit it.
Okay, so let me show you how to actually implement all of this stuff.